Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 28th of June 2022, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a view the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which you can check out, and I believe you can find some good information here. So guys, yeah, before we, or actually not before, but as always, Nikkei 225, yep, we are drifting higher, and we have managed to break this 26,950 territory, the one that I kept on talking about, and we stayed above it as well. Certainly this increases the chances for a possible move further north. However, as I also mentioned before, that we do have these obstacles on the way higher, like the 100-day EMA and the 200-day EMA, which, you know, could be good, these little holding points on the way higher. So, of course, my main target is the 27,524 territory right here. And yep, we'll take it from there, of course, if we do reach that area. But in the meantime, of course, as I said, the problem here that I have is that yes, we've managed to stay above this 26,950 territory, but we do have the 100-day and the 200-day EMAs here, which could, you know, provide a bit of a resistance here. Now jumping into Shanghai Composite, guys. So this one is still trading above this upside line today. You can see that it did try to move lower, but this hurdle, this area, the one that I talked about, this 3,356 territory, did provide good support, and from here we rebounded again, and we're traveling, or at least trying to move slowly to the upside. For now, I'm still aiming higher, but I'm taking it very carefully, very cautiously, because again, in general, the equity world, it's not the strongest one right now, but still it presents opportunities. But as I said, yeah, we'll go slowly on this. I mean, the market is really changing very quickly right now, so if you are, for example, here long, I mean, then definitely, you know, have your stop loss in place just in case. I mean, this suddenly reverses and goes down the drain. But for now, it seems like, yeah, there is still room for some upside. I'm not saying that I'm very, let's say, positive about this, no, but just like I said, there is still some room for the upside. Can we go higher? Well, let's wait and see. I mean, there could be some obstacles here in between this area, but initially, like I said, I'm aiming for that 3,500 level. A quick update on the Hang Seng index. I talked about this one yesterday. I said that it showed good results here, and on Monday, and they traveled higher. And look at this. I mean, this downside line continues to provide resistance. So this is what I said to you yesterday, that in a way, on a bigger picture here, we are coiling up. So we're trading below this downside line, and we're trading above this short-term upside support line taken from the low, the 15th of March. So if you're looking for some higher levels, then certainly, yes, a break of this downside line is needed, but also a push above that 22,523 territory would be ideal. So yeah, let's keep an eye on that one. But again, then we do have an option, we do have a problem of this 200-day EMA, which might act as a good area of resistance, might not, but again, this is still, we cannot ignore it. So yeah, if we do pop above this barrier, and then this 22,523 level, then yes, and we stay above it, of course, this is more important. If we stay above it, then yes, I'll go for some higher levels. The German index, DAX. So the index pushed higher yesterday. It made a move north, but struggled with the downside line. This one that I've drawn yesterday, I mean, it's a tentative one. Don't get me wrong. It didn't really, let's say, totally respect that line, but yeah, it drifted lower. The cash index is currently sitting at around 13,190 zone. So basically we're in this highlighted territory between the 13,150 and the 200 levels. So if you're looking for some upside, guys, at this point, probably, well, first thing that I need to do is get rid of this downside line. No longer needed. It was just in there just to see if it actually works out or not, but didn't really work out. So to be honest, I mean, still for the upside, if you're looking for some higher levels, then I think that I'm still keeping an eye on this barrier, this 13,444 level, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. You could already start looking at some higher levels if we push through yesterday's high, which is, let me just grab a line. Right here, yep, there we go, this 13,378 level. If we push through it, then yeah, we may start looking at some higher levels, but we have this other obstacle, the one that I said to you, that told you about, this 13,444. So in a way, I mean, I would say these two levels are something to keep an eye on, but like I said, for me to get a little bit more comfortable is this one right here. I will start, like I said, I will start looking at higher levels from here, but again, I'm not going to exclude the possibility maybe of, let's say, seeing a hold up here and then drifting back down. So yeah, something like that. IBEX 35, I don't look at this one very often, but, well, actually, as you can see, last time I looked at it here, back in April, but let me clear up the chart here. The interesting bit here is that on one hand, after we saw this decline, we are seeing somewhat of a double bottom right now. So some of you might see this as a double bottom. Okay, that could be the case. However, for that idea, you would still need to see a break of the so-called neckline, which is roughly around here, this 8,363 territory, roughly around there. If we push and stay above it, we would also push through the 21-day EMA, and yep, potentially more buyers could join in. Now, in terms of the downside, the downside here is more of from this level. So in a way, also what could be considered here is the fact that we could be forming a possible possible maybe flag, but however, it's not really a flag, it's more of a range, like a consolidation or like a temporary pause, because look, the prevailing trend was to the downside. Then we are entering this consolidation area, and according to the TA rules, this tends to break to the downside. However, we need that confirmation break first. Until then, this index could remain here in this little range, but that's why I wanted to pick up on this one, because again, it's quite interesting. I mean, if you, for example, if you're struggling to see, let's say, the next potential move in the top indices, sometimes these other less popular indices can help you out a little bit. So because they tend to, all of them, they tend to move similarly, apart from a few Asian and Russian indices, but yeah, this the other ones, they tend to kind of, the European ones and the US ones, they tend to kind of move in a similar fashion almost, also sometimes apart from FTSE 100. But guys, I mean, this is, like I said, still, I mean, it always comes back to the same, the instrument that you're, trading, kind of, you need to do analysis on that one. You cannot just purely jump off from something else, but like I said, it's just like an additional tool that can help you out in the future. So yeah, at the moment, like I said, this, of course, could be anything. At the moment, it's just a consolidation. We're getting a little pause here. Maybe this will evolve into a bigger range here. Who knows? But we need to consider that as well. However, until then, yep, it could be. It could be also considered as a double bottom here, but for that we need to see a push through the upper side of this range. For the downside, we need to see a drop through the lower side of this range. So either way, whichever you want to look at it, either way, guys, you still need a confirmation break. So, but it's like I said, it's quite interesting. I mean, let's see which way that's going to get a breakout. Nasdaq 100. So. Beautiful test of this downside line. Look at this. I mean, I've drawn this one as previously I said, hey, I'm going to keep it for now, and we'll see if it's going to get a test or not, and or if will it carry any significance or not. And as you can see, yeah, it did. So we got a nice hold up here. We got a nice stall, and the index drifted back down. So yeah, I mean, everything is kind of working out nicely here for the sellers. However, as I said before, that preferably I would like to see it drop somewhere below this 11,751 territory right here, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. If we do drop below it, then yes, I'll go for lower levels again, and maybe even for that lowest point of June. Now for the upside, of course, I would like to see a push above yesterday's high, which is around near the 12,176 territory. Currently, the cash index is sitting at around 12,084, 83, something like that. So above yesterday's close, because as you can see, it drifted back down, tested that psychological 12,000 mark, and kind of managed to remain above that psychological number. And yeah, so if you're looking for some higher levels, then certainly a break above yesterday's high is required. So until then, we will wait, because also a break above yesterday's high could lead to, well, not could, but will result in a break of this downside line as well. So this is what could attract more buyers into the game. DXY dollar index, guys. So yesterday we had an attempt to drop below the 103.85 level. We managed to do so, but we failed to remain above it. So still, the idea is valid. Still keeping an eye on that 103.85 zone, which coincides with the 21-day EMA. So if we drop below this hurdle here, below the 21, this 103.85, and stay below it, at the same time we will drop below the 21-day EMA, and potentially, yep, more sellers could join in here, and we could drive this one towards the well, at this point we can look at it as a larger correction to the downside, because well, we are trading above this upside line here, taken from the low of the 10th of February. So in a way, this could still, provide support and send DXY higher later on. But again, we might not even travel all the way towards this upside line. We might even we may break this downside line straight away. However, in that case, I mean, I would still need to see a push above the 105 territory, and then I'll get a little bit more excited with higher levels. Quick update on gold, guys. Gold is a roller coaster. Yesterday, look at this. Beautiful move to the upside. Tested the downside line, which coincides with the 21-day EMA. So all this worked out perfectly. So congratulations to those who were shorting from here. And yeah, it drifted lower. Now it's trying to climb back up. To be honest, at this point, this whole thing here is not really picture perfect for me, unless it starts dropping somewhere below this 1817 territory right there. Then I'll aim for that 1807, and if that gets clear, then yes, further south. For the upside, I need to see now at this point, actually, this is where a few adjustments have to be made, I think. At this point, I would like to see a push above the current highest point of this week, which is around the 1841 level, which also coincides with that 21-day EMA and this downside line. So a nice good drop below, a pop above this barrier may attract more buyers into the game, and we could travel towards this downside line taken from the high of the 8th of March. So in overall, we are just kind of seeing right now the commodity which is trading below the downside line and above this key support zone. So basically meaning that maybe it's forming something of a something of a descending triangle pattern. So let's keep that in mind. Now jumping into oil, guys. Okay, this one's pushing nicely to the upside. Look at this. I mean, the bulls took control yesterday. They have pushed the commodity above through the crossroads here. And what I said to you previously, that if we push and stay above this this area here, then yes, I will continue aiming higher, and this is the point where I'm going to aim for that 114.79 territory. And the quick flashback into history here, that level is the highest point of 2011, guys. So this is the target I'm aiming for. Again, as you can see, for now, I mean, this the highlighted territory right here, for now, this level somehow is magically doing the job. On your charts, guys, I mean, I think that it might be maybe a little bit different numbering, so have a look at it. Have a look at that. Should be the highest point of 2011. So yep, at the moment, yep, we are aiming for that one. Unless the index, the commodity starts dropping back down. Oh, another thing, we need to get rid of this downside line, no longer valid. So at this point, probably the easier option for the downside is to wait again for a drop somewhere below this 105 territory. I get it, it's not the low, but it coincides nicely with this 100-day EMA, and also it did act as a bit of a temporary, like a hold up, temporary resistance area back here on the 23rd. So yeah, like I said, it could be a nice target to watch. You could already start looking at some lower levels if we fall back below this 108 territory, which also acted as a good area of support and resistance. It's sitting below this upside line again. So in general, with this upside line, I am gonna keep it for now, but later on I'm gonna get rid of it because we already got the violation. And look at this, I mean, the commodity reversed back up and climbed back above this upside line. So I'm gonna leave it for now, but yeah, this line I think will go later on. So yeah, in terms of, like I said, in terms of the downside, if you're looking for some lower levels, then initially I will keep an eye on this 108.33 territory, and then I'll keep an eye on that 105 zone. For the upside right now, I am aiming for that 114.79 level, approximately around there. That's the highest point of 2011, and let's see how that's going to play out. Quick update on Bitcoin. This one is a bit of a mess. Yeah, previously, if you remember, I talked about this potential idea of a falling wedge. Kinda didn't work out, I would say. I mean, I want to say that maybe kind of worked out, but not really. So yeah, it's we need to scrap all that, and to be honest, it's easier probably remove all the drawings and start fresh. So one thing for sure is to mark this current low, the lowest point of June, near the 17,567 territory. That's where we managed to travel to. We actually, if this is where I'm scrolling back all the way up down here, so we managed to hit the highest point of 2000 and let me just grab this one somehow if I can manage to do so. Let me just double check. Yeah, I think I missed the peak. There we go, guys. So okay, so this was the highest point of 2017. We managed to reach that level. We managed to overcome it, and actually we're now climbing back up above it. So let's see if we can stay above it, because if we can stay above this hurdle, maybe this is where something good, something interesting could be playing out, maybe for the bulls. But it's a little bit too early. I would say wait for a little bit. Let's see what's going to happen here with this hurdle. If we drop below it, then yes, of course, I'll start aiming for the lowest point of June, and then if that gets broken, the forthcoming lower low would be confirmed. However, if you're a little bit more on the conservative side here, then you could keep an eye maybe on something like this here, this downside line. It's a bit of a tentative one, but nevertheless, I'm going to keep an eye on it for now. I think that's probably easier from here somewhere. Yeah, it's not perfect, but hey, I mean, we can keep an eye on it. But if to get really comfortable, I mean, with higher levels, probably a push above this barrier here, this 25,330 or 38, 39, approximately around there, guys. If we climb through this, then yep, this would play out perfectly, or could play out perfectly, and then we could start aiming for higher levels. Now, jumping into a few pairs, I'm not going to spend too much time on them because I've talked a lot about them yesterday, and to be honest, not much has changed. So on AUD JPY, I'm still keeping an eye on this descending triangle pattern. We're currently moving towards the upper side of it, so let's see if we can break it or not, if it holds maybe. But either way, guys, as long as it remains in here, I am keeping neutrality because, of course, ideally, if this is a descending triangle pattern, ideally I would like to see a drop lower here because then it would work out perfectly with the with this other idea of seeing a larger correction here to the downside before another possible leg of buying. So we have this upside line, so that's why in the perfect world I'm talking about, but we know that it's a lot of times not the case. So yeah, keep your eyes on this, keep your eyes on the potential breakout levels here. So yeah, and then we'll take it from there. AUD USD, similar story. We're also watching this still, or at least I'm still watching this one. For me, this whole area is not ideal, so for now it's just like that. USD CAD, guys. Okay, so this is what I was talking about yesterday. So yesterday we were kind of moving towards that 1.2860, or actually we were near it. I said that in order for me to go lower, I need to see maybe a drop below this 1.2860 territory, or that 38.2% retracement on the Fibonacci. Everything's right now working out perfectly. I am aiming for that 50% retracement here at around 1.2798, something like that, maybe 1.28 level in general, the psychological one, and then we'll just take it from there. But at the moment, that's the game plan. USD CHF, so similar story almost, but I mean it's also kind of looking a little bit more towards the downside. But as you remember, I talked about this a lot and I said that basically here, let's see if what's going to happen. Which one's going to be? Will it be the double top pattern, or with the neckline being around here, which is currently doing its job and providing support, or will it be a range, a very, very wide range? But for that, I would need to see the pair climbing above the 0.9764 territory right here, somewhere around that midpoint of this little, well, if I can say little, this quite wide range. But at the moment, it's quite interesting. Again, don't forget about false breakouts. We could see, for example, this one drifting heavily to the downside, and then by the end of the trading session, reversing back up, and basically everybody will get taken out, and the bulls will have a feast here and start pushing higher. So yeah, don't exclude that scenario. If we drop and stay below it, then yes, I mean I will start aiming below towards this 200-day EMA. A quick update on GBP Aussie, guys. So this one's quite interesting. I'm keeping an eye on this still, on this highlighted zone. Also keeping an eye on that 100-day EMA, which is slightly below it. But if I am looking for some higher levels, then certainly a break of this area here, which is between the 1.7857 and the 1.7887 levels, a nice good pop and stay above it, then yes, may attract more buyers into the game. For the downside, I would like to see a drop somewhere below this 1.7557 territory right here, and then go maybe for at this point, a larger correction to the downside, because we're still trading above this upside line. We're still forming higher lows, so this upside line could still be valid, guys. GBP JPY, also quick update. Still hanging above this upside line. That's great, good news. And can we go higher here? Again, I will prefer to wait for at least a push above this 167.85 territory, not to mention the 168.43 area. Actually, maybe even this barrier as well, the current highest point of June near the 168.73. So basically, I mean, a lot of obstacles on the way higher here, but could be worth it. But as I said, initially I will start looking at some higher levels if we do push above this 167.85 territory right here. For the downside, again, a drop below this area, maybe I would say even better, maybe this 164.66, which coincides right now with the 21-day EMA, and if we drop below it, then I will go to the downside. GBP USD, I just wanted, there's nothing special with this one, somehow, I would say. But I wanted to say that this could end up being something quite interesting, because as you can see, for the fast kind of past like 5 or 6 trading sessions, we have been somewhat flat, I would say. I mean, or I wouldn't say flat. I would say undecided. The bulls and the bears are really undecided here, and yes, at one point during the day, let's say one or another gets control, drives this one. But look at this. I mean, even my level here, this 1.2162 territory, the one that I mentioned, it acted as a good area of support last week. So I need to see a drop below this hurdle in order to go for the downside. For the upside, I still would like to see a push through this downside line. However, I do understand it would make me missing out on a bit of territory here. So that's in that case, if you're adventurous as that, then you can keep an eye on that 21-day EMA. If we push through it and stay above it, then yes, I'll aim for this downside line, which could hold, and we could result in another, and this could result in another slide. So don't be very optimistic here. Let's say if you get it right, still there is a problem that we could face this downside line. EURUSD, guys, very quickly on that one. Again, not a lot to mention here. The same analysis, the same rule. I'm watching and waiting until we get a clear breakout here. I don't know which way this is going to break out to, but let's say I can surely put my downside scenario from here, and this arrow from somewhere around here. 1.6678 zone. This is something that we could keep an eye on, but at the moment, maybe. I mean, probably there's probabilities greater towards the upside, because it seems that we are climbing high. We're kind of forming something of an ascending triangle pattern, but again, until we get that clear breakout and we see the rate staying above, let's say, this barrier, which is around the 1.6842 territory, then yeah, we'll just continue observing this one, just remain neutral. Euro GPY. This one's also giving us the right signals, or should I say, giving the bulls the right signals. But again, don't rush into this, because I cannot stress this enough, because again, this might easily reverse back down and drop through this upside line. Remember about AUD JPY, which I've talked, because if this suddenly does, if the yen buying will resume strongly, then yes, Euro JPY might drift to the downside and break this upside line. And finally, EURUSD. Again, not much is not something that's very interesting here. However, little kind of note here. Maybe, again, just maybe I'm trying to see something where it isn't, but maybe this could be a possible rising wedge pattern, and according to the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the downside, guys. And this may be, this might work out perfectly with this downside line. It could, let's say, we could see a push higher, get a hold up near this downside line, and then we could drift lower, and then basically this rising wedge pattern would, could work out. So do not exclude that, but let's see if, like I said, let's see if I'm not trying to see things here where they are not. So yeah, at the moment, if we do push and stay above this 1.0636 territory, I'm going to aim a little bit higher. So guys, that's it for this session. I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, guys, your views, your likes, your comments, in general, everything. I really appreciate that. I cannot even stress how much I appreciate that. So thank you very much. If you want to catch me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe. Have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.